So let's talk about fluency. What is it? What's fluency?
Understanding.
The flow.
The flow.
The flow of what you're reading.
That's
how you roll with the words you're reading.
Roll with the flow.
So, I'm not a very good fluent reader because I read really slow. Is that a true statement?
No.
Why not?
Because your flow is slow.
Yay!
It depends on how many words you get right in your. It doesn't matter about speed. It's how many words you get right.
It doesn't matter about speed. To a certain extent, it doesn't matter about speed.
If you go too fast, no one
Right.
can
If you go
understand
too fast, exactly.
If you go too slow, then you lose the words and the content.
Well, right. So if you pick up a book, Amazing Grace, written by Mary Hoffman and illustrated by Caroline Binch. If you pick up this book and I come along and it's not even a read aloud, but you might be sitting over in the corner, and as a teacher I come over and you're sitting here and you're like, Grace was a girl who loved... You guys laughing at my reading? You're not hearing...
I said that
you know what, I'm not going to
you
read anymore then. I just hate reading.
I'm looking forward to you and not ever hear me.
Don't make her choke.
I know. The look on her face, priceless. We could have did a commercial.
Could have.
Priceless.
Made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money.
If you can't read, it's okay. Because
That's
it's on
not
your
a
face.
fluent reader. Okay? That's not a fluent reader. That is an emergent reader, but not a fluent reader. There's got to be a little bit of a flow to it. Grace was a girl who loved stories. So there's got to be a flow to it. And there's also got to be some other things to it. So there you go. The ability to read smoothly, easily, and readily with freedom from word recognition problems. The ability to read smoothly, easily, and readily with freedom from word recognition problems. Now, if you come along and one or two and you got to decode it, but you continue with it, that's still being fluent. But if it is every second word, Grace was a girl, that's not being a fluent. It's not easy. It's possible the book is out of their range. Maybe it's a little too difficult for them. So you would assess it at a lower and say, okay, then great. We'll get you to the higher ones, but let's get you fluent. Let's work on that fluency.
Maybe you need to make sure it's not a speech problem as well.
Right,
I mean,
right.
people
Well,
who stutter
you're
are
not,
going to read slower than...
well, hopefully by, third grade, they're going to know that it's not
By
a
third
speech
grade,
problem.
you'll know if
But yeah, hopefully it isn't. And it comes down to know your students. The biggest thing is know your students. Know where they're coming from. Know where they're doing. Know how they're doing it. It's also the accuracy and automaticity. So what's automaticity?
You do it without thinking about it. Happens.
Well, there, stereo. Let's get two of you talking at the same time. I got two ears.
All together now.
All in
One,
unison.
two,
One at a
three.
time. Wow.
Sorry.
And speed or rate. And expression and porosity, and that's what it is. That's when you're being dramatic. That's when you're raising your voice and you're lowering it. That's when you're showing that you really enjoy reading. And that's what I'll be looking for after spring break in your read alouds. That's what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for the porosity, your expression, your love for reading, your love for literacy, your automaticity, is it okay to make him miss you? Yeah, it's okay. But continue. Don't stop. Don't stop. I said that word wrong. You know. Yeah, exactly. Right.
On that note, Kat, we're done.
You know, continue on. It's okay. Do I make mistakes? Very rarely. When I do read alouds, it's very rare. But once in a while, I'm human. But
you your way.
But I like putting in the expression and the porosity and being that theatrical. And you can bring props with you during your read aloud if you want. You know, depending on what you're reading, it's okay to bring some props along. Or as a teacher. Or as a teacher, that'd be too funny. As a teacher, you had this in your classroom, and one of your students just got it, and you went up and you said, "You know what? You're on fire." How much would your students would go absolutely crazy? Or you put on your little other, and you're searching for the answer. You're searching. So put your search hat on.
That's the answer safari right there.
You know, or
You look like
That's more
you know, if it's a book about pirates, do something with pirates. And it's really interesting. There was a couple of, I think last semester I was invited over to a school to do a read aloud. And so I asked the teacher, and the teacher said, "Oh, it's going to be on pirates." And I was like, "Oh man, I got all this stuff. I can put it to use then." And so I brought all my pirate stuff, and I had my posse. All the kids were my posse. So I had enough. Like this was my hat, and some other hats, and I had. And we also had our bandanas. And we tied these up somehow. The
triangle.
yeah,
The
Yeah,
triangle,
the
and
triangle.
tie it and tuck it.
yeah, and so the teacher did it.
It's a little
wasn't me.
do-rag.
So all my, I had enough of these for the students, or I had an eye patch and stuff, and it was a really interactive read aloud. A very interactive read aloud, and change your voice. So I had a patch, and I had my patch, and I'd flip it up when I was doing some reading, and then I'd come to a part and say, "Arr! We're gonna make you walk the plank right now." Arr! I probably can't do it as good as Coach Leach, but I tried. So it's always good to have some little things, in your that you can use for your, so, and that gives it a little bit more, makes it a little bit more dramatic. It makes it a little bit more interesting instead of just standing up there and reading your book and showing pictures. Oh, isn't this a nice picture? It's very colorful. I know some people don't like color, but it is. You're like, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm getting up. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm leaving. I'll be back when you're done. Like, is she done reading? Okay, I'm going in. I'm going in. So,
If you do that my read aloud way, I'm going to walk out and leave too.
and then there's comprehension is a part of that. A part of that fluency. That you want to when you finish. It's like one of those after things that you do after with the prior knowledge. That, you know, talk to them about, what was the book about? Easiest question to ask. What's the book about? It's about nothing.
I wasn't listening.
Going on there.
It's
Just thought I'd let you know.
My hair goes like that anyway, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I was just trying to help.
So there's another definition of automaticity, that it's fast, effortless, and fast is not blah, blah, blah. Done. That's what, that, it doesn't mean like that. Like, you know, on the rubric, you know, was it, you know, fast, blah, good. That's not a very good read aloud.
So how do speed readers read?
They, with effort,
Well, I know,
do it
but,
to themselves.
but,
They're not.
but it says they don't read every word.
No.
I don't understand how you can get the concept if you don't read every word.
My English teacher last semester graded our final. She did this and graded it in like 3 minutes. Gave it to us.
What kind of
Yeah.
final was it?
And one of the
Okay,
things
research paper.
when you,
It's English.
you know, for me grading is if you guys answered the question about readers and response, I'd just be looking for a couple of the, a couple of the words, you know, a couple of the important words with readers response. You know, text, take the reader, the text,
The meaning.
gives it meaning. Without the reader, it's just print on a page. And that's what I'd be looking for. Not all that fluff of 42 pages of fluff, and I'm only looking for 2 things.
Would you have accepted that?
Would I accept it what?
What you just said?
Yeah, oh yeah. That would have been 50 points right there, because it would have said, you're
crud.
showing
Can I
me.
have my test back real fast, please?
Yeah, come on, our test back.
No, because you're showing me that you comprehend the reader's response. That's what the reader's response theory is. It's not, you don't need to write 12 pages about it. The reader's response is, take the reader plus the text, it gives you meaning. You make a transaction.
It was an essay question. Essay
Essay implies
right.
at least a paragraph.
I know.
Right.
See? So
At
I'm
least a couple
thinking you're gonna make us write a little paragraph thing.
It would have been a paragraph,
But
that's
2
all.
sentences is not an essay. You just
That's
gave
a
us
short
2
answer.
sentences.
But that's what I would have been looking for. Now, you could write, like I said, if you're going to write 12 pages to tell me the text plus the reader equals meaning, Rosenblatt lived on a nice, she grew up in a nice big house. Her mom and dad were well educated. She died in 2005. Her theory wasn't accepted until the 1960s. And blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you say her reader's response theory talked about. You know, on the 4th page, you finally say the reader's, her research and what she talked about was this.
You're not talking about the essay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All you want is describe the reader's response. Give me a paragraph. That's all. So it doesn't, that goes with comprehension. That's all. That's what you're looking for. And with grading and with, you know, that professor. That's all that professor was looking for. Whatever that question was, they were looking for the important words. There's 4. Okay? They were the 4 important words. If I asked you to describe the 4 language systems, and if semantic, syntactic, chromatic, and graphic. So, No, that's a different
Oh,
subject, okay? It's not, we're not gonna talk about it. But if I,
I don't
Right.
remember that.
but if you went into great explanation about the 4 queuing systems and how they, and then all of a sudden went into it on the 3rd page, you're like, and then you come back and you say, well, how come I only got 25 out of 50 on it?
Because I was tired by the time I got to the end.
Well, exactly. And so, fluent readers, blah, blah, blah. Blah.
I want to put that on the test. What did Dwayne say about fluent readers?
Blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah.
Well, lover, well, lover, well, lover.
I'll get my red,
Yada, yada, yada.
yeah, get my red pen out and go, you know.
We have you on video saying blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's all good.
That's right.
and
We have
fine,
proof.
But
We have proof.
it's pointing right towards that.
Well, it's not what I'm
So,
looking at.
it's showing us that's what fluent readers do.
Audio learner.
I can't read.
You know what? You better get out of here.
Start reading first.
You know what? You need to go to the remedial class then.
I don't know how I got into college.
Exactly. And so, there you go. What's that? Speed plus accuracy equals fluency. The same as the text plus the reader equals...
Meeting.
Oh, come on. That's math. You can't have math and literacy. Are you crazy?
You need to
You
incorporate
can't have
all
that.
content areas.
Oh my goodness, that's a math equation. So, speed plus accuracy equals fluency. So, what is fluency?
Speed plus accuracy.
Thank you very much. So, if I said define fluency.
Speed plus accuracy.
Now, I'm not asking you for the essential components of fluency. I'm just asking you for what is fluency. Now, if you went into a whole explanation, well, the components of fluency are porosity in expression, comprehension, automaticity, blah, blah, blah. Well, good, that's what the components are. But you know, what is fluency? Pretty easy. Speed plus accuracy. That's all. That's all you want. Hello? The fluent reader sounds great. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Can't be Ben's time.
We want what?
He wants to be Ben
We
Stein.
can't be Ben's time.
No.
Bueller.
Oh, that movie was back in what? 1984.
Really, it's funny
really?
though.
Oh
There's
gosh,
some
yeah.
people who weren't even
God,
alive.
older than
I will admit to it. I was not alive when that
He
movie
was,
came out.
I don't know if you watched the sidebar, but if you watched the Academy Awards, Matthew Broderick and a few of the other, this famous director died or whatever. He did Ferris Bueller and the Breakfast Club,
Mother Breakfast.
and they were all,
Yeah.
the majority of them were there, and they showed clips of and that's what it was.
Ferris
Bueller.
Bueller.
He really is funny.
And it was. I
No,
mean,
he
it's,
really is.
who? Matthew
Ben
Broderick
Stein.
or Ben Stein?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
funny guy.
We got extra credit for having to go to one of his little seminar speeches.
He's got a
at
very dry
college.
sense of humor, but he's funny.
And it was hard to pay attention, but at moments he was funny. Just kind of. He's funny.
So, and there are some indicators of fluency.
Thank you.
You know, you might have that speed and accuracy, but if you stand up here and with the book up here, hands as warm as toast, that ain't gonna be nothing. That's gonna be like, I'm getting up and leaving. I got the video camera on, I'll watch it later.
Fast forward.
When you're ready for bed.
How painful will that be?
The expression and comprehension go hand in hand.
Right, that you need to get it, and your students will love it. It doesn't matter what grade. I'm sure, you know, Stacy could say the middle schoolers. You know, if she stood up there and
I would rather stand in front of them than fourth graders.
Read a slide.
Yeah,
So-
but if you read like that, you get spit wads.
Oh, they'd laugh at me, they'd say she reads great.
we're not going to do
For
that
you, they would,
because we want to go.
no, you're not crazy.
We're not going to do that.
You can see psycho.
You can assess their fluency, accuracy, and speed. There are a lot of assessment tools out there. You can use Dibbles. You can use the C-Top. There's the Wexler. There's the Gates. There's the running record. There is miscue analysis. That all have a component on fluency. And whatever your school district applies to. LISD uses a lot of Dibbles.
Because Voyager does.
Because Voyager does, you know.
No more Voyager. It's last year here.
I know.
What is Star Trek?
I picked up some of the books from Voyager. Actually, there's some in there.
Oh, Lord.
I said I'm going to take some, so.
The treehouse stuff.
And it can be as intense as you want it, or it can be as informal as you want it. You know, the informal is a running record. You just sit down, it's a 3-minute read, you sit down and you just make little check marks, and then you add it up and make a percentage. And you'll do all that in 4,300. I don't think anybody's in 4,300.
Is that the diagnostic?
Yeah.
And Plainview?
Oh, you're in Plainview.
I did it
What are you
last-
doing? We're doing miscue analysis as a.
Yeah, we did the classroom reset.
Okay. Okay, we're doing miscue. They're doing miscue analysis like huge. I mean, it's a whole semester from day one, all 11 weeks.
Yeah,
They
we just
have.
had to do the classroom reading inventory and then wrap
Is that
up
one?
Yeah.
about it.
Is that one that I have to take? Because I'm special ed, so most of my EDLIs have been replaced with EDSPs.
No, you will take it, huh?
You can be disfluent.
Oh.
Just got that.
The longer you talk, the longer we hear. And don't be mad at me, be mad at your peer. You can be disfluent when the reader focuses all of his or her attention on word recognition. So, it's not where you want to be. You don't want your students to be disfluent. And that gives you some suggestions on some things that you can implement into your classroom. And like I said, you can, go through them, take a look at them if you have any questions, and we'll next class we'll probably do tag again, or do another strategy and talk about this. Modeling. Practice.
So modeling as in read to them?
Modeling is you're reading to them. When you do read aloud, you're modeling it for them. You know, and you start off at the first day class. You know, in August, you start modeling it. You're not going to ask a student on the first day, Linda, could you stand up and read this book for me, please?
No.
You're going to be like, yeah.
First day kindergarten.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright guys, look
Well,
at
then you know what? If you don't, you're going to spend another year in kindergarten.
In the closet.
There's
You know what that happens in the dark.
Hey, that was
You know where that
I'm
conversation, the
I
conversation
got
going
an
home.
ulcer over that in the first grade.
I'm certainly glad you did.
I was in the hospital with that
So-
ulcer in my stomach.
That's why
That
you're
was not one
laughing
of
about
those schools.
So you want to model it. You want to
You
teach it, instruct it, help it along. Show some strategies that help with the fluency, and there's some mentioned before. You know, read aloud, think aloud. Echo reading. And choral reading.
reading. Ooh.
It's still used. Still used. I was in a classroom probably about a year and a half ago, I guess. A year and a half, and I'm like, and that's what she said. We're going to do some choral reading. I'm like, oh. Where's the door? Yeah, I just got there. I couldn't leave, so because I was doing an observation.
Well, I mean, but how does that help? Choral reading.
Well,
That's
what
not how you
it gets
read.
right, but it gets everybody reading.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it gets everybody reading. That's why it's on the
I
bottom,
believe that.
and it should be further down the bottom.
I believe if you do that, it's easier for that one person who's not gonna read out loud.
Right, right.
Just
But
kinda
you're all
sit there and blend in,
they-
and you
right.
don't notice that they're not reading.
Watermelon.
That's right.
and the porosity and the expression comes along once you model it. Okay, they're not going to get it, and then there's going to be some over dramatics until all of a sudden it's like, okay, they got it.
Cute magnets. It's to get here.
Read your turn. How to build reading fluency. Daily. Daily reading. Daily. Set goals. You know, graph their fluency. And again, that's pretty easy to do. Once you, like I said, running record is very simple to implement. You're not going, of course, you're not going to implement it for all, 20 students, because hopefully not all 20 students are disfluent. Hopefully they're not disfluent, and if they are, then you might want to get somebody to come into your class and help you out.
Including. That might be a terror.
There's repeated reading. One of the things that, is tape reading. If you have a tape, an older tape deck or whatever, get them to read into the tape deck and then get them to listen to themselves.
In Milshu, they have phones. And what it is just PVC pop. Yeah. And they have them read
Yeah.
into the phone. Get
Yeah,
your
I
phone
call
and read your phone.
mine the phonics phone. But yeah, it's pretty simple to have in your class, and they just
Most of them, every one of them have one sitting on their
it just
desk.
goes in here and all
Right
that.
here.
I've never heard of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean but I think it's like $1.49 or something at
I
Home
just mainly
Depot.
put headphones on to
And so they just take the book and go give themselves. It's pretty cool. Actually it is. We'll have to try it sometime. You have some partner reading, repeated reading, partner reading. Home reading, if you can get it done. Provide a book for a student, get them to read it.
It's getting harder.
Yeah, it sure is. The more you can get them to read, the better.
the ones that need to be reading at home.
And that's the rough and ready of fluency. That's, and one of the,